My name is Mike Jimenez, and this is the Fantasy Gods coming at you from San Antonio, Texas. Joe Garcia producing today's show. If you want to be part of this show, by the way, subscribe to us on YouTube. You can follow us also on Facebook and Twitter as well, but please subscribe on the YouTube channel as well. We're also available on all the major podcast formats. Typically, I do the Alamo City Sportscast on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays now, but Brandon Medina, the normal host of the Fantasy Gods, is out of town right now. He's in Minnesota, the land of the Vikings. His favorite team is the Vikings. But we'll be discussing fantasy football. It is week 10 in the NFL. We'll be discussing betting, parlays, things that we like. We'll also be getting into Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5, because I'm not saying that I'm hungover. I'm not. Yeah. But, dude, that girl had to bring out the big ladder to get his drink last night. Interesting.
He wanted top shelf.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It was like that bottle was rescued off the Titanic. They had to dust it off, you know. But if you want to be part of the show, send us your fantasy questions as well. Again, we're live right now on YouTube. You can send us a tweet or an X, whatever you want to call it. I'm at MJ Acquire Taste, and Joe is at Two Shots Podcast if you want to get in that way. It is week 10. This is going to be a difficult week for a lot of you fantasy football players, because look at the teams that are on buys today. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Miami Dolphins, and the Rams. Screw the Rams. That means no Patrick Mahomes. Okay, so
no Patrick Mahomes.
If you have Patrick Mahomes on your fantasy team, you start him every week, right? Well, he ain't there this week. That also means that Travis Kelce's not there. Travis Kelce is in Argentina with his girlfriend, Taylor Swift. Okay?
He's getting booed up.
Yeah. By the way, she mentioned him on a song yesterday, the song Karma. She says, Karma's the guy on the Chiefs. That was a great line.
Yeah.
He was taken aback. But anyway, that means no Travis Kelce. The Eagles, no Jalen Hurts. Chances are, if you have Jalen Hurts on your roster, you start him every week. But Jalen Hurts is not playing today, right? That means A.J. Brown, who had this huge streak of 125 yards receiving, is inactive today because of that, because of the bye. The Dolphins, no Tua Tagovailoa, no Cheetah. Tyreek Hill ain't going to be there. So these are high-powered offenses that all happen to be out today. So that means we got to do some maneuvering, some maneuvering right now.
And you couldn't even look at the Vikings, for example, too, if you wanted to go ahead and have Primo. If you had him as your QB. In your fantasy, he's out for the season. Yeah, I'm saying
Cousins.
Yeah, Cousins. Yeah, I call him Primo.
I just got it. It took me a while.
He's out for the season.
And Josh Dobbs is now the starter. Did you see that story last week about Josh Dobbs?
Yeah,
Josh Dobbs is somebody who's been a journeyman. He was drafted in the 4th round about 6 years ago. Has been bounced around. Played very well for the Cardinals this year. He's on his 3rd team this year. His 4th team in 12 months, and he went out there and won a game for the Vikings last week because he was brought in last minute, got a last minute trade when Cousins went down. And this is a guy who's very brilliant, very smart. In fact, he literally is a rocket scientist. He works with NASA. Nice, he has another career. He went out there not knowing his teammates' names, not knowing the plays last week. They didn't even know his cadence. He was on the sideline saying, "This is how I hike the ball. I go, blah, blah, blah. I do this, that, and the other." And I go, we got this. Great. I don't know any of your names. We're going to go out there. He led the Vikings to a victory last week. Josh Dobbs, do you want to keep him on your fantasy team? Do you want to add him last minute? I don't know, because as great of a story as that is, I don't want them to win this week.
Oh, why? Because they're playing Who Dat Nation?
They're playing the Saints. So Brandon Medina, if you're following along right now, I hope your team loses. The Saints coming in at 5-4, first place in the NFC South, taking on the Vikings 5-4. Vikings 1-3 as a home record this year. Saints favored today by 3 points. But let's go ahead and get fantasy right now. Let's get some of the comments in. Chris Leha comes in, says, I'm going to need a loan to go out and drink with money bags. Home equity loan, something like that, because money bags, I respect it, though. You respect
the money bags.
Well, no, because drinking bad alcohol sucks.
Oh, yeah, it does, man.
The well drink. But then again, there's like the upper level, right? Like if you're going, I like whiskey and bourbon, right? So if I go to a bar and I ask, well, what's the well? And they say, it's Kentucky, whatever. I'm like, okay, well,
a wild turkey.
Well, that's okay. But then you get into the, Jim Beam, which is the lower level one.
Hey, Jim Beam is my go-to.
I like
lower
Beam.
level, man.
I like it's a good lower level one. Joe Reinagel and I polished off a bottle of Jim Beam in one night.
Yeah,
but it was a small bottle. Not the
750 milliliter.
750. So we have that, but then you go into the Crown Royal, and then you go into the Maker's Mark, and Gentleman Jack, and then that's kind of where I stay. The Basil Hayden, kind of that area.
Well, Wild Turkey's good, but Wild Turkey 101.
Yes. Then you get to the upper echelon, the single barrels, right, and all that stuff.
Single batch.
That is where Jeff Garcia from Ken's 5 and Locked On Spurs resides.
The small batch, the specialty.
Yeah, but the thing is, he lives so long in New York that if I see a drink that's $15, I'm like, $15? This is coupled with an oil change.
Oh, yeah, to him it's nothing.
And he goes, "Oh, these are great prices because compared to what I paid in New York." And I get the mentality.
Yeah,
I get the mentality, but I respect it because right now I don't feel like trash. Why don't I feel like trash? Because it's Fireball and champagne that'll wreck you. But the upper level stuff, the things that you sip on, you feel good in the morning. You feel perfectly fine. Yeah. Oh, Jeff Garcia's in the house. No, you don't, Chris Leha. I practically paid for Jimenez's food and drinks last night. Practically, you did. I told him at the end of the night, I owe you, dude. I owe you big time next time. But the thing is I'm going to be like, dude, what do you want to drink? And he's going to be like, you see that one all the way up there?
Yeah.
Polish that one
up. If he tries to get you by saying, I want the drink, and he points to a bottle.
Yeah.
And it has a little jockey on the top.
Yeah.
You say no to that, dude.
Okay. A well drink for him is Baker's Mark. Like that's his lower
tier.
That's his low tier.
Yeah, man. The one with the little jockey on it, by the way, that's like an $80-$100 shot.
Dude, I have a bottle of, well, it says aged 18 years Scotch. Is Macallan. The version I have is like $300. I got it as a birthday gift. I'm sorry, a Christmas gift years ago by my boss or my old boss. And it's just sitting there. I don't know if I'll ever open it. It's just been sitting there. It's probably 25 years old by now.
Yeah, man.
But very, very cool. Hey, again, the bye week's going on right now. If you have a Chiefs player, you take him out. If you have a Eagles player, a Dolphins player, or a Rams player, you take them out right now. We've already had one game, which was the Thursday night game. It was a snooze fest. The Bears beat the Panthers 16-13. Bryce Young, 185 yards. Deontay Foreman, 21 carries, 80 yards, and a touchdown. We do have one game going on right now in Frankfurt, Germany. And if you started any of these players, chances are you're unhappy because 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, the Indianapolis Colts are ahead 7-6 over the New England Patriots.
This is a stinker, bro.
So you're not getting much of anything. Michael Pittman Jr. with 61 yards. You got Stevenson, the running back for the Patriots, with 76 yards right now. The only touchdown of the game, Jonathan Taylor, right now, 57 yards rushing, one touchdown, but only one reception today.
You know what the irony in this whole thing is? If the score stays close like this and the Pats have the ball near the end of the game, they could essentially win it on a field goal.
Right.
So it's one of those games. It's an ugly one.
They're gonna big name that is going to be a game time decision today, which is Jamar Chase, the stud wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. Dude, his quarterback Joe Burrow has looked good.
Yeah, he
does. Last month.
Now he looks like Joe Burrow.
He looks like LSU Joe Burrow, right? The guy that had 61
Smoking
touchdowns,
the cigar,
60 touchdowns as a quarterback in one season for LSU.
Yeah.
But Chase hurt his back against the Buffalo Bills last week and is not feeling well. It's going to be a game time decision. So if you have Jamar Chase, chances are you drafted him in the first or second round. If you have Chase, you're going to be there at 11:58 trying to hitting refresh. Are they going to play him? Because they said, the coaching staff has said reportedly that they're going to see how he looks in warmups. And if he does play, how much is he actually going to play? They're taking on the Texans today. It's a 12 o'clock kickoff over on CBS. So you'll be able to check that one out as well.
Don't forget about my Cowboys playing the Giants today, divisional game.
Yeah, so the Cowboys play the Giants. And the one thing I find interesting is that it is by far the biggest spread out there because most of the games are 2-point, 3-point, 5-point, 6-point spreads. The Cowboys favored by 17.5 home against the Giants. The Giants are starting a quarterback a different quarterback for the third straight week.
Yeah, well, their QB1 is out. Injury.
QB2 is also out.
Yeah.
So they got a third string quarterback coming on. I mean, yeah, they got Saquon Barkley, but you're going to see they're going to dare the quarterback to throw. And my goodness, if you have the Dallas Cowboys defense, you may want to.
It might be big time for the defense today.
You know what? That brings us to this. The first category here, which is blessed is he who starts.
Let's see what scene we're on. Remember, we're on the second scene.
Oh, I have no
second
idea
row.
what any of this means.
Second row.
Second row.
Push the button.
I have no idea.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Blessed is he who starts.
Oh, dude, this is all brand new to me. Okay, so blessed is he who starts. Blessed is he who starts as we go to the Church of Fantasy, the Dallas Cowboys defense. Again, taking on a third string quarterback. Micah Parsons going to wreak havoc today. They do miss Leighton Vander Esch a lot this year, but the Cowboys defense is solid. The Cowboys need to win this game. They're 5-3. They're undefeated, 3-0 at home. This is long winning streak that they have at home. Defensively, this is going to be a big game for the Cowboys. Do not be surprised if you get 5 sacks, because if you have a second, third string quarterback out there, they have no rhythm with the first team offense.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing out there. On top of that, you have the fact that the likelihood of a pick six is higher. The likelihood of a fumble is higher. The likelihood of a sack is higher. Do you think that this quarterback is going to run it up and get like 3 touchdowns against the Cowboys defense? Because if they do, then there's something wrong with the Cowboys defense. Cowboys favored by 17.5 points. The over-under is 38.5, which means you take that number. Vegas believes the Giants will score 11 points or less. That's what the Vegas line thinks.
You know, it'd be interesting if they have a bet on how many rushing yards Dakota Rain Prescott's going to have today.
How many what?
Rushing yards. Because it would be very low, you know, but if you go like maybe 10 or less or 15, you're hovering around there.
Dak, 25 maybe.
Yeah.
He scrambles from time to time.
But I'm saying it's not going to be big numbers. But if you hit that right on the nose, you could win some money on that as well.
I would say that blessed is he who starts also. We're going to go defenses.
Yeah.
I like New Orleans' defense today because they're taking on a very battered Vikings team. And I know that Josh Dobbs story is nice and all, but the Saints are finally figuring it out, man. They're figuring it out. They're finally scoring points. They're converting on red zone opportunities. First place in the NFC South. That is not a homer pick. That is me saying that I know the Saints have a really good defense. And if you have an offensive quarterback over there on the Vikings who doesn't really know the playbook, it might work for one game, but there's tape on Josh Dobbs.
Yeah.
You're telling me that they didn't study him?
Yeah. The NFC South too, by the way, it's beyond just the Saints and the Falcons, which separated by a game. Of course, the Saints are the divisional winners right now, or they're winning the NFC South. The Buccaneers and Panthers, they're lagging behind big time, dude.
So let's go ahead and talk about on Blessed He Who Starts. Some players that, you know, are due for a big game. And I'm looking over at Bijan Robinson. How disappointing has it been to be a Bijan Robinson owner this year? Because Bijan is one hell of a talent, dude. He is one hell of a talent. And it looks like they are mismanaging him over there in Atlanta. They got him as a top 10 pick. I mean, look at the last couple of games for Bijan. 11 carries. 1 carry against the Bucks, 13 against the Commanders, 14 against the Texans, 14 against the Jaguars. His yards, 51, 62, 337, 46. Receiving-wise, only averaging about 3 or 4 per game. For the season, look at this. For the season, halfway through the season, 517 yards on 5.0 yards per carry. 5.0.
Man.
And what's going on here? They're not giving him the damn ball. There's been a lot of outrage this week. A lot of fans have come out. A lot of national media from ESPN, FS1, coming out and calling out the play callers of this team. On top of it, I saw this stat the other day. You know, the Houston Texans had a running back kick a field goal the other day. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
There was an injury to a kicker.
It was very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It said, and the stat line said this. It said, number of times the Houston Texans have used a running back as a kicker once this year. It said number of times the Atlanta Falcons have given Bijan Robinson the ball inside the 5-yard line this year. Once. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Do we have any comments coming in? Chris Layhouse still talking about the alcohol. He's talking about how he owns an 18-year-old Crown Royal.
Oh, that's Leha that says that.
Yeah.
Most expensive bottle he owns is an 18-year-old Crown Royal. And Matt Lerma's calling him out. And he's saying, live a little, Leha. You can't be diamond hard at work and be mid when you go out.
Can't be mid when you go out. But sometimes it's a midday, dude. Sometimes it's a midday.
Hey, and sometimes the drinks are on specials, like at Stowhouse at one time.
Yeah.
And Bert, was it Jack and Coke?
The best time that I had sometimes whenever you go pay your tab, in your mind you have a running tally of what you think it's going to be.
Roundabout.
Yeah. There was one time my college roommates and I, so I graduated from UTSA, but my sophomore and junior year were spent at Texas State. I met up with my old roommates. You know, we live in different cities now. We happened to go to a Texas State game, and it was either the night before or that night we decided to go to this one bar that we used to go to, and we were ordering Maker's Mark.
Yeah.
Makers and Diet, just Makers on the Rock, whatever the case may be. And we probably had about 5 or 6 each.
Oof.
And it was throughout the night. We were watching games and whatnot. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, let's say that it's 18 Maker's Mark. And I'm thinking to myself, and I'm like, okay, 18, let's call it $6 each. That's 54 times 2, 108 plus tax. I'm like, all right, because I told everybody I'd pay.
Yeah.
I'm like, $120 with tip, $140.
Yeah.
I get my tab, $18.
What?
And I'm there going, I'm thinking to myself, okay, do I just pay it and run out because they obviously mischarged me?
Yeah.
I was being a good guy. And I was like, hey, can you tell me like the breakdown of this? And I said, oh yeah, it's $1 a drink. It's dollar makers night. I'm like, who has $1 makers night? They had $1 makers night. Chris Orozco reaches out to us with a fantasy question. Najee Harris or Jahmyr Gibbs? That's a good question right there. Gibbs taking on the Chargers there. Gibbs this year, that's just like Bijan Robinson, is somebody that you would just hope that they give the damn ball a little bit more often to. Gibbs, though, last week, 26 carries, 152 yards. Actually, it was his last game that he had 26 carries. If they're going to give him the ball that many times, you want to go in that direction there, because before that, he only had 11 carries, 8 carries, and then 17 and 7. So if they're going to give him the damn ball, then make it so. If you look at the Steelers, though, I'm sorry, not the Steelers. If you look at Najee Harris, by the way, I'm going to go over his stats right now. Najee Harris, just want to verify something real fast. Jahmyr Gibbs, dude, I like him, dude. Just the versatility of what he does. Gibbs, the last few games, 16 carries, 7 carries, 14, 14, 14, 19. There is a trend that you're seeing here where you know how often they're going to give him the ball. And offensively, it's a hit and miss team when it comes to this team. And I like the fact that the Lions are playing for something right now. The Lions are the better team. I like Gibbs. I do. Chris reaches out and says, I hope Gus Edwards has a third straight great game. Gus Edwards is a very unsexy pick for any fantasy team. He has been that guy for like 5 years. You know, he's that one guy where you're like, he's my RB2, my RB3. And then just suddenly just blows up. Gus Edwards, 6 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. He only had 5 carries in his last game against the Seahawks, but 2 of them went for touchdowns. Prior to that, against the Cardinals, 19 for 80 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had 2 receptions along the way. He had a touchdown against the Lions. Last 3 games have been impressive for Gus Edwards. But the problem is that you have his quarterback, and Lamar Jackson, who's just as good of a runner as
Yeah.
he is. Lamar Jackson, though, is playing his ass off. The Ravens might actually be the best team in the NFL right now. We don't talk about it as much.
They were actually in the conversation earlier this week when they were talking about Super Bowl contenders. The Ravens were in the mix.
Ortiz is making the point that Montgomery's coming back, and I do know that he's coming back, and they might split carries. But I think what you're going to see, though, is at some point, one's going to be the alpha on the team. And then the question comes back, is Montgomery going to be limited when it comes to touches? Or is he going to, get a full load? That's the problem. GIBBS is the better running back, dude. I mean, he has the better upside. Yeah. Fantasy is fun. All these buttons down here are fun. But let's go through a couple of things real fast. Some of the games that are I find fascinating this week. The most important game of the week for me is taking place in Florida. The Jacksonville Jaguars, 6-2, taking on the San Francisco 49ers, coming at 5-3. Those 3 losses all in a row. Can you imagine?
Ever since they beat the Cowboys.
They beat the Cowboys, and then the wheels fell off.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that the Niners are favored by 3 points on the road to a 6-2 team.
That's crazy to me.
But here's the thing about the Jaguars. The Jaguars are 2-2 at home, 4-0 at the road. They're the NFL's version of the Texas Rangers.
They're the Road Warriors. Yeah.
They're the Road Warriors. That's basically it. But Brock Purdy, dude, if you're starting Brock Purdy in fantasy right now, it's got to be frustrating.
It's rough.
Obviously, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, you're going to want to keep them going. That I understand. When it comes to the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence is having a good year on the field, but when it comes to fantasy purposes, I mean, you want to start him, but you don't necessarily need to start him. There's a lot of quarterbacks that are in that range right now when it comes to fantasy, is what I'm saying. Other games going on. You got the Packers against the Steelers, Saints, Vikings, Texans, Bengals.
Now that's interesting. CJ Stroud. Yes, sir.
CJ Stroud. You start him the rest of the way. Oh my God. CJ Stroud. I am, people give me shit about like, oh, well, your takes suck. The one take I had last year on San Antonio Sports Star, and I screamed it, was that CJ Stroud was head and shoulders the best quarterback in that draft above Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Bryce Young went number 1 overall to the Carolina Panthers, and the dude is so short he can't see over the line. CJ Stroud, though, last week, 470 yards passing, 5 touchdowns against the Bucs. This is a guy that has a 62% completion percentage, which for a rookie is very good. You want to get it around 65 to 66%. But for the season, 14 touchdowns, 1 interception. He is a shoe-in for Rookie of the Year. Shoe-in for Rookie of the Year. CJ Stroud, you're going to want to keep him in because how do you not start him after that game against the Bucs last week? I mean, you have to. Taking on the Bengals. Now, the Bengals on the road. Couple of things that we need to talk about when it comes to this week as well. What is the weather going to be like? Because there is rain expected in Seattle. So if you have Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf or Jackson Smith and Jigba or somebody like that, or you have somebody on the Commanders, understand it's going to be 51 degrees and rainy today. The Browns and the Ravens going to be cloudy, 51 degrees, not that bad. Jaguars game, they may as well be playing in the summer, man. It's going to be in the 70s over there. It's going to be a little cloudy over there. It's going to be cloudy in Tampa Bay as they take on the Titans, but it's going to be 74 degrees there in Tampa Bay in West Florida. Packers, Steelers, also an outdoor game, 43 degrees at kickoff.
The one game that's interesting to me, because I have them in my parlay, because I know Brandon's always saying, stay away from the bird game. Falcons, Cardinals.
Okay. I hate both of these teams.
I do too.
I hate both of these teams. The Falcons don't know who they want to have as quarterback.
No.
They're doing quarterback roulette right now. But the Cardinals are so bad, man. 1-8. Vegas has this as an Atlanta 2.5-point spread. That's Vegas going, who cares? Who cares? That's what that is right there. God, that game's so trash, man.
It is, man.
Yeah, like what are the ratings going to be for that particular game? Because it really can't be much. It really
Yeah.
can't be much.
But you can make some money on this one, though.
Yeah. Now, according to fftoday.com, it's a good website. They talk about who they believe are going to be the best plays of the week. They have Josh Allen as the top quarterback as they take on the Broncos. They've got Lamar Jackson as the second best play, followed by Joe Burrow. And I cannot believe they have Brock Purdy at number 4.
Ugh.
Brock Purdy at number 4. Trevor Lawrence at number 5. At number 6, they've got Dak Prescott. Now,
Dakota Rain.
right now, where is the thou shall bench?
Thou shall bench.
Quarterback wise, according to fftoday.com and also according to me, they have Tommy DeVito
Oh, Lord.
of the Giants. No one's starting DeVito.
Who?
No one was starting Mac Jones. No one's starting Aiden O'Connell or Kenny Pickett. No one's starting Bryce Young or Zach Wilson. The weird thing is that they have, of quarterbacks that actually play in fantasy, that people actually entertain the idea of starting, they have the worst quarterback being Derek Carr. For shame. Derek Carr has looked good the past couple of weeks.
He has, man.
He has looked good in the last couple of weeks. But out of all the ones that they have out here that I think, you should bench, that gets play, is probably going to be, I hate to say it, he's a big name. Kyler Murray.
Oh, God, yeah.
A lot of people have picked up Kyler Murray off of waivers. He missed so much the first part of the season.
Yeah.
But he is feast or famine, dude. He is feast or famine.
He's coming off injury. You don't know if he's still feeling 100.
Right.
So there's a lot of, it's a big gamble.
Right.
That could pay off if you go ahead and do start him. But I mean, the guy's not 100 yet. And we've already seen how that affects quarterbacks. Case in point, Joe Burrow, when he started the season injured, it does affect your game.
Chris Lehal reaches out and says, Steroid Carr has been good. My brother has him on the bench. We'll start him today because his other starter is my homeboy. Patrick Mahomes is out today. Taking a look at some of these projections for running backs, the second best projection for a running back is Saquon Barkley of the Giants. They believe that he'll get 107 yards overall, 82 rushing, 25 receiving. And I don't see it. The only way I can see Saquon going off with some no-name third-string quarterback out there who has no idea who any of these guys are in front of him is if they stack the box, 8, 9 in the box, and he breaks free and he gets like a 75-yard touchdown, which it's possible. The guy can do that.
Yeah.
But that's the only way in my mind that this dude gets 107 yards overall. That's personal opinion on it. Travis Etienne, Christian McCaffrey is number 1, obviously, followed by Etienne, Austin Eckler. Alvin Kamara is expected to have a big game. Josh Jacobs, Breece Hall. Now, the low end, someone asked about David Montgomery. The projection, according to fftoday.com, is that Montgomery would get 14 carries today compared to Najee Harris also getting 14 carries today. And they believe that Jahmyr Gibbs might be used more in the passing game and get an overall 13 carries. I just think Jahmyr Gibbs has the home run hitting potential.
Yeah. You know what we got to do? We got to go ahead and pay some love to some of our sponsors man.
Let's do it.
Let's go ahead and start off with the one and only Mad Pecker, man. If you want to go ahead and get you a good pour, get a good craft beer. You're going to go out and say hi to our boys over here at Mad Pecker, man. The address for them is 6025 Tesla Road. They're going to be in suite number 122. They have a ton of great food out there, great brews. And you're not talking about getting your domestics. You're talking about craft beer, real man's beer there.
And they've got a really good menu out there. Although you did make fun of me last time because I had the Hawaiian pizza.
The Hawaiian pizza.
But they have fried mushrooms that are massive. I mean, they're like the size of your fist.
Burgers.
For crying out loud. They've got burgers. They've got a brew house pretzel. They've got these fried cheese bites, which are kind of like cheese sticks, but it's in a ball. I really like their cheese breadsticks, though.
Oh yeah,
those are pretty good. They've got fried pickles. If you're on a diet, the calories don't count or matter when you go over there. Okay, there's nothing healthy. Okay, but that doesn't mean you don't go because they have a jalapeno bacon jammin' burger, which is a ground beef patty, crisp fried jalapenos, homemade bacon jam and cheddar cheese. Good Lord. Go have that while you're watching the games over there at Mad Pecker Brewery. So if you want to know, again, it's 6025 Tesla Road. Where the hell is that? Okay. If you're going 1604, you're going to exit Culebra, go inside the loop. Culebra turns into Tesla.
Yep.
And it's going to be right there about half a mile to your left. If you're going 410, you're going to go up 410 Culebra, going towards Alamo Ranch. Again, at the HEB, that's where Culebra and Tesla kind of merge.
Split, yeah.
It splits right there. You're going to hook a right, and that's half a mile down on the left-hand side. Mad Pecker Brewing Company. They do a fantastic job, a fantastic pour. And if you're not into beer, guess what? You got alcohol too.
Yeah. Get you a little drink.
Get your drink on. Very, very nice. Hey, everyone, this has been so fun so far. We go to about 11:30 doing this, right?
Yeah, we do. But we also got to go ahead and give a quick shout out too to our other sponsor here, which is the one and only Mudslingers Coffee, man. You got to go ahead and pull up there at 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. They have a great selection of coffee that's actually made here local. They have local drinks here that play to the flavor of San Antonio, such as the Wembiyama inspired drink called the Alien.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, Mudslingers is not a coffee shop. It's a fucking experience.
It is, man.
Okay. Let's talk about Mudslingers. You go over there, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. Basically, I drive up 281 North. I exit Thousand Oaks. I hook a right, and it's a mile down on the right-hand side. I absolutely love Mudslingers. Mudslingers is an experience, man. It's beyond coffee. It is beyond, mocha this and mocha that. To hell with Starbucks and things like that. Buy local people, small business owners here in town. They do a fantastic job. I mean, everything whipped creamed, chocolate drizzled, so much going on in there. The mini donuts, the salted caramel mini donut is my jam, dude. That is
sounds amazing already.
That is so freaking good. They do have the Frank Harris drink, the UTSA drinks that they do as well. They are big in the community, giving money to UTSA, giving money to the, they're very charitable in what they do. UTSA inspired, Buros inspired. You've got Wemby inspired. They even got the Money Bags drink as well. Speaking of Money Bags, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 also inspired them to have that Orange Julius type of drink called the OGOJ.
Yeah.
And the OGOJ, if you remember back in the day, going to Windsor Park Mall, Ingram Park Mall, remember going to McCreeless, remember going to all these malls, and they had Orange Julius there upstairs. You could have that Orange Julius vibe all over again. It's a great drink. It's a great place. Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. Great family-owned business. They do a lot in the community. Give Starbucks the middle finger. Give Mudslingers your business.
Give them some love. There you go.
God, they're so good over there.
They are, man.
They're so good at what they do. Fantasy football wise, we talked about who to start. We talked about who to bench. We haven't talked wide receiver today, though.
Yeah.
And wide receivers right now, again, it's feast or famine, dude. It's kind of hard sometimes to pick a wide receiver because, again, the star name today is Jamar Chase. Game time decision against the Texans as he tries to suit up for the Bengals, hurt his back against the Bills. It is a game time decision. They're going to try to figure him out. But according to FF Today, the number one ranked wide receiver today is CeeDee Lamb. The projection for CeeDee Lamb is 93 yards and a touchdown. I can see it. CeeDee's balling, dude.
Yeah.
And if CeeDee's balling, that means Dak Prescott's balling. There's a chance. Eagles don't play today, right?
Yeah.
So the Eagles don't play. No Jalen Hurts. So get him out of your lineup. No Jalen Hurts. But if you look at the Eagles' schedule from the next 5 weeks, they've got in the next 5 weeks on the road Monday Night Football against the Chiefs, a rematch of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Kelsey Bowl. Jason Kelsey against Travis Kelsey. Taylor won't be there. She's on her tour.
Oh, you know what? What's his record been since Taylor hasn't been there?
Yeah, but see, the thing is, he's been knocking boots with her all week this week.
Making the legs weak.
Yeah, he's going to come back, do that 9-hour flight back to Kansas City. He'll be fine. Well, he has that Taylor magic in him. So they've got the 20th, Monday Night Football against the Chiefs. The following week, home against the Bills. They got Josh Allen. The following week, they've got a home game against the Niners. Then they've got the Cowboys on the road at Jerry World, and then they've got the Seahawks on the road. Eagles are going to win the division if they can go 3-2 in that stretch. If they go 2-3 or worse, the Cowboys are still there. I'm just saying, last year this happened with the Cowboys where they fell behind by 2 games, and a lot of Cowboy fans were like, man, we got them the day after Christmas or whenever it was. And I'm like, dude, it might not matter because you can't make up 2 games in one game. And I was looking at the schedule saying the Eagles have no chance of losing any of these games leading up to that game in Dallas. So even if the Cowboys did win, the Eagles are still going to win the division. Right now, Cowboy fans are looking, going, oh, it's over. It's over. We're 2.5 games behind. And I thought the same thing, but then you just look at the schedule. It's going to be an easy win. Cowboys here by 17.5 points. It's going to be an easy win. They're going to get within 2 games. Win 2 games.
Yeah.
Within 2 games. Cowboys schedule gets easier. Gets hard at the end. You know, they've got the Miami Dolphins down the stretch. But they can catch up because would you be surprised if the Chiefs beat the Eagles playing in Kansas City? No, you wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Would you be surprised if Josh Allen went off against the Eagles? No. Would you be surprised that the defense of the Niners beat up on the Eagles? No. Would you be surprised that the Cowboys beat the Eagles in Jerry World, in Dallas, Arlington? No, you wouldn't be surprised. What I'm saying, Cowboy fans, is that there's actually not just a chance. Like, so you're telling me there's a chance? No, there's a realistic chance that the Cowboys can actually win this division, because if they don't win the division, 3 road games.
Yes, that would be they would be playing for the wild card, and we all know how they fare away from Jerry World. It hasn't been very good.
It hasn't been, but at home they do pretty good.
Oh yeah, because they have the home field advantage. You know what that means? Yeah. The sun coming in through.
So we have a question from Ortiz: Tank Dell or Taysom Hill as a flex? Oh my goodness. Okay, first of all, Tank Dell went off last week. 6 receptions, 114 yards, 2 touchdowns. This is somebody that CJ Stroud is starting to get a rhythm with. 28 receptions for the year, 454 yards for the year. Now, the games before that, the last 2 games before that, weren't so hot, right? He had only 3 receptions against the Panthers and only 3 against the Falcons. That being said, Taysom Hill. What position is Taysom Hill? Everything. My question for you is, do you get quarterback points if you have Taysom Hill? Because I have some leagues that I see out there where Taysom Hill, they'll say, we count his receiving, we count his rushing, but we're not going to count anything that he throws. Because if you saw last week, he threw a touchdown, he rushed for 1, he caught one. He does everything. He didn't catch them all, but he's done. Yeah. At some point in the last 3 weeks, he has thrown 1, rushed 1, and caught 1. The guy is going to be used as part of the offense somehow, some way. RPO, taking the snaps and trying to figure something out. It's just read the play. Taysom Hill in his mid-30s, by the way. I think he's 33, 34 years old. For some reason, he plays as though he's 25. He's like 33, 34 years old. The guy is a unicorn in this league because he plays special teams too. He plays tight end, he plays wide receiver, he plays quarterback, plays running back, plays halfback. The Saints have been doing this thing where they're bringing in this 350-pound guy as a fullback. Remember back in the day when fullbacks were a thing, when you had Mike Allstott, you had Darryl Johnston, you had those guys out there. This guy isn't a fullback. He's like a lineman, but they're like, run through the hole and have Taysom follow you. It's like the movie Wildcats.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Football. Wildcats. Football.
Isn't that the one that had Goldie Hawn in that one?
It was Goldie Hawn, Woody Harrelson, and Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
That's a movie I saw in the 80s that I saw way back when, and I think I saw it because it was, it's a sports movie.
Yeah.
Not about them being drunk and all that stuff. So we've shown love to the sponsors, Matt Pecker Brewery, Mudslingers. We've done Blessed He Who Starts, Thou Shall Bench. Are we going to talk betting now?
Yeah, you can go ahead and say pass the collection plate.
Ooh.
Pass the collection plate.
All right, we're going to pass the collection plate and talk about some spreads going on right now. Let's give you a parlay for today. The one that I'm going to stay away from, oddly enough, is that Dallas Cowboys spread.
Man.
I don't like it. You know what? Because that's professional football, man. 17.5 points. 17.5 points.
That's an awful big spread, dude.
I bet last year a bottle of Basil Hayden, a $45 bottle of Basil Hayden to Joe Reinagel, because the Texans were favored to lose a game by like 15 or 16 points last year. I forgot who they were playing. They were playing a really good team.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, they're going to lose by 30. Anybody want to bet me? And Reinagel shook my hand and said, I'll bet you, because teams are not supposed to lose by that much in the NFL. Because even the best of teams playing the worst of teams, to be blown out by 17 or more rarely happens. And what ended up happening, like it was like an 8-point loss or whatever it was. And he proudly took that bottle, went to Texas Cheer Liquor, and I got it for him. 17.5 for an NFL game is ginormous. I'm going to stay away from that.
Watch it be a closer game than that.
What I do like, I like the Lions on the road against the Chargers. Lions right now favored by 2.5 points.
Yeah.
I like that game. Seattle trying to bounce back, favored by 6 points against the Commanders. Man, Sam Howell, dude, I mean, no one wants to believe in him, but it looks more and more like the Commanders believe that he's going to be their QB1 for some time. Tonight we've got the Jets against the Raiders. The Jets suck so bad right now, man. Can barely score, and they're favored to win. That's how bad it is right now for the Raiders.
You never want to bet on the Jets, bro. They always let you down, man.
Zach Wilson going up against a third-string quarterback. Dude, that's the Sunday night game.
Ugh.
What a snooze fest that's going to be.
Man.
Basuda Bowl. Oh, you got the Falcons and Cardinals. Oh, that just makes me feel ugly just thinking about that.
They made it into my parlay this week, dude.
Which one did you take?
Taking the Falcons, money line over Cardinals.
Not bad. Probably getting what, like minus probably
-2, something like that.
Yeah.
At least cover the field goal.
minus 175
Yeah.
or 135. You've got the Ravens over the Browns, favored by 6.5. Take the Ravens and run with it, dude. That Ravens team is on a
They're
war
hot
path right now.
But you know what? They are going to have a hard time, I think, against the Browns, because the Browns have a really good defense.
A really good defense. They have a really good defense. I got that.
Not high scoring.
No, over under that game is 38.5. I just think that the Ravens have as good of a defense. Browns have like one of the best defenses in the league. The Ravens have a good defense.
Yeah.
And the quarterback play for the Browns has been suspect. Dude, look at that game, the Niners against the Jaguars. If you told me the Jags were going to win by 2 touchdowns, I'd believe you. If you told me the Niners were going to win by 2 touchdowns, I'd believe you. Titans on the road against the Bucks. Bucks favored by 2.5. Titans playing with another quarterback. I mean, all these teams have all these injured quarterbacks. These are shit games, dude. This is a horrible week, man. Saints favored by 3 over the Vikings. I like the Saints.
Yeah, pour some out for Brandon, dude. You know what? Every time he wears his Vikings gear,
yeah,
it seems like he curses the team, bro. And he's over there in Minnesota, full disclosure, watching his Vikings today.
Look at this. The Vikings 1-3 at home, starting a third-string quarterback.
Man,
who's only been on the team for a week. The Saints are 3-2 on the road. They play better on the road than they do at home. They do. And the Saints have a quality defense. The Saints have Alvin Kamara. The Saints have Chris Olave.
And Carr's
Mike
been playing
Thomas.
good.
Dude. Yeah. I think the Saints are going to run away with this.
With this
game.
I don't think it's going to be like a 24-point blowout, but I think it'll be at least 3.
I think it'll be. I say the Saints always get at least 2 field goals, so I'm going to say the Saints win that game 23-17.
That's respectable.
Cover the spread.
Yeah,
cover the spread. These are all ugly games, man. So I would say my parlay, dude. Why do I want to look at that money line for the Texans? I bet you it's plus 250.
I probably would have to agree with you on that one.
Especially if Chase is hurt. What if he doesn't play?
Yeah. I still got Bengals, though. I would go Bengals money line over Texans.
Matthew Gonzalez. I bet against my own team basically every week. His
Oh
team being,
God.
I know his team. That's the Carolina Panthers. They suck, dude. And to see CJ Stroud go off. Okay, let's go ahead and go. Bengals, Texans. I like the money line on the Texans. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But if you're getting plus 250, go up against Burrow. Fine. Have at it. Packers, 3-point favorite, 3-point underdogs against the Steelers. Dude, the Steelers better win that game. Who's going to be quarterback for the Packers? They've been bouncing around with their QB1. These are ugly games, dude. I don't like any of these games. Although the one I'm most intrigued by is actually the Lions-Chargers game. That sounds like that's going to be a track meet. There's no such thing as an LA Chargers fan.
Yeah.
So the Lions are not going to have like a crowd go against them. The Lions 6-2 right now, trying to keep pace for one of the top seeds of the NFC. And let's talk about that real fast. And this is a fantasy thing, you don't ever want to have your team or your players have nothing to play for. That's why I like Jamar GIBBS for a Lions team that is 6-2. It means something. Look at this. In the NFC right now, this is the way the playoffs would stack up, because right now we are at the halfway point of the season. There's 17 games.
Yeah. Week 10. Yeah.
So we're halfway point, right? All teams have played either 8 or 9 games. If the season ended right now, the Eagles would be the number 1 seed and the only team to get a bye. I hate the fact that there are 7 playoff teams. There used to be 6, 2 would get byes, and right now only 1 team gets a bye. They're trying to keep pace with the Eagles. That's what they're trying to do. So if the playoffs are right now, the Eagles would have a bye. The Lions would host the Vikings. The Niners would host the Cowboys. And the Saints would host the Seahawks.
Yeah.
In the AFC, the Chiefs would have a bye, but the Bengals would play the Ravens. Good God, that'd be a great game.
Jeez.
The Browns would play the Jaguars, and the Steelers would go on the road against the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins have not looked good, man. 6-0 against losing teams, 0-3 against winning teams.
Yeah, I'm just showing some of the sheets right now, like the sports book.
Yeah, the Texans are plus 205 against the Bengals. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I like anything plus 2, especially if you have a hot quarterback that you don't have a lot of tape on. Then again, he's on the road. The Bengals have a very good crowd out there. If you're looking for underdogs, right? Upsets. The Jaguars home against the Niners, who have lost 3 in a row. It's plus 140. If the Chargers can pull off a game at home, they're plus 120. I like that. The over-under right there, the Lions-Chargers at 48.5. If you're going to tease that, look at that as a potential teaser. Maybe you do a 4-point tease, and you go Chargers plus 6.5, and then you go over 44.5. Those two teams are going to combine for more than 44.5. Can the Chargers keep pace and either win the game or be within 6.5 points? Or maybe you do a 4.5-point teaser to make it over 44 and plus 7. That's actually a pretty good teaser. You're probably going to get 1-to-1 on your money on that one. Cowboys, God, stay away, dude. Stay away from that game. But I like the over-under of being 38.5, because the Cowboys might cover that 38 by themselves.
They could.
I like the over in that game. If you're going to tease that, I would tease it Giants plus 21 over 35. That's how I would tease that game. I'm a big teaser guy, dude. I know that Brandon Medina likes to go for the big money parlay.
Yeah.
I like teasers, man. I like adding 3 or 4 points. I don't know if you're a fan of that at all. Let's scroll up to the Saints game. What is that one going at? Saints minus 3, over 40.5. The Saints have been putting up points, man. They've been putting up points. So I would tease that. Saints, oh my goodness. I don't like that spread of 3. I think the Saints are going to win that game. You could tease it 3 points down and make it a pick 'em for the Saints and go, dude, I think you can go over 37.5. I can see that. The Browns Ravens game. This is the one that you tease downward. I would say tease this one 4 points. Go Ravens, or go, you know what? Tease it 3.5 points if you can. Make it so that the Ravens are minus 2.5 so that you win if you get a field goal win, right? But I would tease the under because of those defenses. The under right now at 38. If you tease it, you could go under 41.5. Dude, there was a college football game the other day. Not this past week, but it was last week. It was the lowest over-under of the year.
What was it?
It was 29.
Oh,
Was the lowest over-under. You know what they scored at halftime? It was 0-0 at halftime.
oh my God, dude.
The game ended up being 10-3.
Oh, man. 0-0. But you know what? If anybody had made that bet, they probably did win big. If it was 0-0 at half, yeah.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Hey, man, it's been fun doing Fantasy Gods. I haven't done this in a while. Typically, I bounce back and forth with Brandon Big Poppy Medina. He's my guy. We used to do the Fantasy Gods back in the day. I love talking fantasy. It's a game in which we all overthink ourselves. You know, we ask questions like Jahmyr Gibbs versus, Najee Harris. We think about things like that. And Matt Gonzalez reaching out and saying Panthers have absolutely nothing to play for. Awful front office, awful coaching. No first round pick next year. Just take me up behind the barn and put me out of my misery. No first round draft pick, because who's getting that first round pick? Chicago Bears are.
The Bears. And you know what? The Bears don't look good either, man.
Yeah. Let's look up the NFL Tankathon.
Let's see.
NFL Tankathon. The order right now, Carolina would have the number 1 overall pick, but they traded it to
Chicago
the Bears in order to get Bryce Young, a quarterback who's 5'10" and can't see over the line.
Arizona's right there at number 2.
Mm-hmm. Do they have the Patriots at 3? God, man, is this Bill Belichick's last year?
He's maybe somebody you got to take out behind the bar.
Who's going to go first, Bill Belichick or Greg Popovich? And in what manner will it be?
I think it's Bill Belichick. You know what, though? Mr. Kraft, being what he is, he's probably going to give Bill one more season. Mm-hmm. And honestly, he should move away from him already.
Right.
Go ahead and take the GM acronym away from him. He doesn't need to be the GM anymore. If he just wants to be a coach, that's great. If he doesn't want to be he gets mad because you take away him being the GM, you got to move on from him as a coach too.
Agreed.
Yeah.
The number 1 overall pick, according to Tankathon right now for the NFL draft, would be the Chicago Bears selecting Caleb Williams, the crybaby out of USC, quarterback out of USC. That would mean no more Justin Fields. The thing about Caleb Williams, he made news earlier this week last week because when they lost and they got out of playoff contention, he was crying in the stands with his parents.
Oh, I saw that.
And so many people were like, God, you want to have a quarterback with that much emotion? No, you don't. Man up, dude.
You need a cuddle.
That wasn't a championship loss. Like when Jason Kelsey of the Eagles cried at the Super Bowl last year. That was a manly thing because that was the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It wasn't a loss to Stanford or whoever they lost to. Crazy. Number 2 pick, according to the NFL mock draft on Tankathon, Marvin Harrison Jr. My God, going to Arizona. I would hate life if that was the case because Arizona's a crappy place to be. Quarterback Drake May going to the Patriots at number 3. Other big names on here. Let's see here. Let's see. The interesting thing about it is that the Texans don't have their own first-round draft pick.
No.
But they have someone else's.
You know what's odd to me, too? Check this out. If the fact this does pan out, the Bears arguably can get the number 1 pick and the number 5 pick.
Right.
That's pretty big time for them.
It is. And new stadium coming up over there in Chicago. They have the Bears taking Joe Alt, offensive tackle, left tackle out of Notre Dame. As far as the Cowboys on Tankathon, with the number 21 pick in the 2024 NFL draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Xavier Worthy, wide receiver of the Texas Longhorns.
Maybe get
Texas is back, baby. Man, Matt Gonzalez still going off against his Carolina Panthers. Our wide receiver one might be 2 or 3 years away from a senior citizen discount. Who is that? That's a guy who used to play for the Vikings. Why am I brain farting right now? What is his name? I see him. It's gonna piss me off. We're gonna leave here.
Let's look at the depth chart real quick for wide receivers for the Carolina Panthers.
Why am I having a brain fart against a guy that's been in the league for like ever? It's not DJ Chark. It's Adam Thielen.
Okay.
I was like, Vikings. Adam Thielen, more than a Thielen. Been around for a long, long time. But anyway, the games get going here in 30 minutes. Give you a quick update before we go of what happened there in Frankfurt, Germany. They traveled. The Colts and the Patriots traveled over there to Germany. They left their offenses behind.
Jeez.
Colts just won the game 10-6. Brutal. 3 field goals and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor with the only touchdown. Patriots are now 2-8. Bill Belichick, is he on the hot seat?
Oh, yes, he is.
How do you get Belichick and Greg Popovich off?
Man,
and show them the door.
Mr. Kraft has to do the right thing, man. He just, you know what, Mr. Kraft, you want to keep winning. You want to keep the winning, culture there.
Yeah.
You got to move away from him, man. He's already past the prime. Maybe he can go ahead and still be a coach, but not on the Patriots, not for the Patriots. Maybe go somewhere else.
Now, Bill Belichick is the second oldest NFL coach in the NFL right now. He is 70 years old.
Let me ask you the question. Bill Belichick's success, is it more due to his coaching or is it due to Tom Brady?
It's due to Tom Brady, but Brady needed to have the mad genius behind it.
Yeah.
Tim Duncan would have had an NBA title wherever he was. But the question is, would Tim have had 5?
That's true.
That's different, right? And just because you are a great coach to one set of players doesn't mean you're going to be a great coach to others. Look at Mac Jones, right?
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the ages of the NFL head coaches as of right now. Bill Belichick is 70 years old. The oldest NFL coach right now is Pete Carroll, who looks 50.
He still looks great, man.
He runs up and down the field, right?
Yeah.
71 years old. Andy Reid is 64. Frank Reich of the Panthers is 61. Ron Rivera, the Commanders, he'll be out of a job soon, is 60. John Harbaugh, his brother's a cheater, is 60 years old. Mike McCarthy, the 7th oldest, at 59, followed by Todd Bowles of the Bucks. Dennis Allen of the Saints is 50. Look at that. There's no one between 51 and 58. Actually, there's a couple. I'm sorry, they just have them done wrong here. But the youngest, Sean McVay, is still the youngest coach in the NFL. He's been around for a while.
Yeah, he has.
He's 36.
And he's won a Super Bowl.
Kevin O'Connell of the Vikings, 37. The Colts head coach is 37. DeMeco Ryan of the Texans is 38. Mike McDaniel of the Dolphins, 39. Zach Taylor of the Bengals is 39. There's something to be said about young coaches. Nick Sirianni of the Eagles is 41. Kyle Shanahan of the Niners is 42. Matt LaFleur, 43. The Packers. Age is nothing but a number, dude, when it comes to coaching.
Yeah.
You could be a young coach and be highly successful. It doesn't matter if it's the NFL or the NBA. Look at the Miami Heat's head coach. The dude wins all the time. Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah.
He's been winning since he was in his 40s.
He's probably, I'd say he's one of the best coaches in the NBA behind, the accolades that one Greg Popovich has put up. You got to look at Spo and see what he's been able to do with his teams over the years. And not only that, but being able to go ahead and get the Miami Heat to return to the NBA Finals. I mean, you can't say enough about him. I wouldn't mind him coming in and being the coach of the San Antonio Spurs.
I wonder, Greg Popovich has 1,369 victories as a head coach in the NBA.
Yeah.
That is a record. He beat Don Nelson's record last year. 1,369. You might be thinking to yourself, that'll never be broken.
Spo could do it.
Spo is on his heels, dude.
He is.
Eric Spoelstra right now is 19th all time with 709 wins. He is more than halfway there, right?
And he's still young.
He's young, dude. Eric Spoelstra, 53 years old. If Eric Spoelstra coached for as long as Pop coached, let's do this.
Do the numbers.
21 more seasons, right? 21 more seasons. Let's just say that he gets 41 wins. That's 861. You add that, he beats Pop's record by like 200.
Yeah.
Just keep coaching, Spo.
He's doing great. I mean, hey, man, that was a hell of a selection there that Pat Riley did, by the way, of handpicking him, you know?
Yeah. As young as he was.
Yeah.
And Eric Spoelstra, truth be told, not only is he a great coach, his wife.
Oh, he's winning off the court.
The coaches, the players can't date the cheerleaders.
Yeah.
He married one.
I know.
He married a Nikki Sapp is her name, former dancer for the Miami Heat. Look at Spo go.
Do your thing, Spo. Do your thing. Hey, but I was going to ask you, Sean McVay, is he the youngest NFL coach to have ever won a Super Bowl?
I believe he is.
Because I'm trying to remember. If my memory serves me correctly, I think he was.
Yeah, he is. Mike Tomlin used to have the record, but Sean McVay was the youngest one to do it.
Yeah, there you go, man. Great little bit of history.
Mm-hmm. This has been fun. Everyone, get your parlays in, get your teasers in. We've got 24 minutes to go. Jamar Chase. Let me see if there's any news on Jamar Chase before we go.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase. Again, game time decision here. If I can spell his name correctly into my phone.
Oh my God.
Come on, Shefty. What does Shefty say?
Let's see. Active, Jamar Chase.
All right. You heard it first. They're favored by 6.5 points, if I'm not mistaken, against the Houston Texans.
Yeah, that's as of today.
Yeah, Shefty, as of today, yep, got him going.
Jamar Chase, TJ Hawkinson, Keaton Mitchell, Robert Woods, Michael Thomas, Deebo Samuel, and Trent Williams are active.
Very cool. Everyone have a great day today. Be safe on the roads because it is wet out there. It's a good night, good day to kind of just order pizza and just watch the game from home. That's what I'm going to do.
That's what you're going to do.
Got to soak up that alcohol from last night.
Got to get some menudo in you. I know you hate menudo.
Menudo's trash, dude. I think people eat menudo because they're like out of obligation. I don't think they actually like it.
Oh God,
it tastes like trash, dude.
You know what I just saw right now? A friend of the show here. We got to go ahead and show her some love, man. We're talking about mudslingers, right? Earlier in the show.
Yeah, Chicana Fuerte.
Chicana Fuerte, man. She's out there sporting some mudslingers right now, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and show that.
Very
there
nice.
she is. Mudslingers, man.
That's
gotta go.
That's Fernandez's girl.
Yep.
Fernandez's girl. Hey, happy Veterans Day, Fernandez, by the way.
Yep.
You're still active duty. A good friend of mine, Michelle Quintero, yesterday. She's in the Air Force here at Lackland. Happy Veterans Day, and all of you who have served out there. Everyone be safe out there. This has been fun. Brandon Medina will be back next week. Probably upset, crying, because he flew all the way to Minnesota to watch my team, the Saints, kick his team's ass over there in Minneapolis.
In the Viking ship.
Yes. F Skull.
We'll see you all, man.
17.5 points for the Cowboys. Come on.
Damn. All right. We'll see you boys next week.